Alright, good evening folks, it's Enforcer Matt, and today we have very big news developing across Russia, Ukraine, and Crimea, so let's jump right into it. This morning, we have seen something absolutely insane. Ukrainian forces have just ambushed Russian forces stuck in Crimea with a massive drone attack, destroying everything from several fuel ships, air defense systems, radar installations, and the Kerch Strait oil depot, all in one huge attack, and Putin's forces were completely caught off guard, resulting in a stunning major defense failure. Meanwhile, mainland Russia was being targeted by the longest range Ukrainian drone attack of the war, as we just got the bombshell news that just 2 hours ago, Russia's largest refinery in Omsk was struck over 1,500 miles from Ukraine's border deep in Siberia, and Russian air defenses failed there as well, resulting in total chaos erupting across the region. And we also just got word that US soldiers are being deployed to Poland in the coming weeks amid threats that Putin plans to attack Poland to escalate the war against NATO forces. And we've also gotten some more news of worsening economic failures across Russia as citizens begin to realize that Putin is dragging the country down with him. So we have wild news today, some absolutely stunning attacks by the Ukrainian forces on the Russians after the Russians conducted a very heinous attack last night on Kyiv, and we have all that news here in the video. So let's go ahead and jump right into our first article, which goes to Tendar. And right here we have one of our biggest stories of the day. We have just gotten word that in this major blitz that Ukraine conducted on Crimea last night, that there were also several oil tankers that were apparently blown up in the process, and we did see here that Ukrainian forces struck 2 fuel tankers in the Sea of Azov last night, and additionally, Russian targets on land such as oil silos, radar units, and air defense assets were also successfully struck as well. So this is a huge development because we've been wondering if maybe Russia is going to use ships on the sea to bring in fuel, that's refined fuel products like gasoline and diesel, into Crimea, and it looks like they just tried to do that, and not only did it not succeed, but the vessels trying to transport that fuel to Crimea were destroyed, as we're about to see here in the video. So you might be able to notice right here from the first photo, that's not a good sign. If you see this overlay right here that says fire point on it, and you see a ship right behind it, that usually means that bad things are about to happen, and that's no understatement whatsoever. So let's take a look at our video here. We're about to see a whole bunch of different stuff get struck in the video, including these ships, but let's take a look. And right here you can see it. This is the overlay of a Ukrainian drone, and that right there is a ship that Ukraine's alleging was carrying refined fuel products to Crimea for the Russian forces. And there it is. And as you can see, this drone is moving at an incredibly fast pace here. And I think this might be a picture of the alleged vessel, probably right here in this image that we can see right here. But you're about to see, though, they're about to show the final strike. It's coming up right here, and there they go for it. And just to remind everybody, they hit 2 of these types of ships right here. So not just one, but apparently 2 of them. And there, I guess there's some security or something up there. Maybe the crew, I can't tell what that is. Here they are hitting a second ship right here in this angle that we can see. And this is remarkable because, like I said, we were wondering if maybe the ships were going to be trying to supplement the fuel losses that Crimea is currently having, but I don't think that's going to be happening if Ukraine keeps this up. Right now, Crimea is largely completely cut off, so I would say effectively Ukraine has pretty much blockaded Crimea to a large degree. I would say like 95% blockaded would be my estimate. But as you can see here, there's all that. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here. You can see there's the oil depot. This is believed to be at the Kerch Strait oil depot that this was hit, and they hit that thing very badly. As you can see, there's a huge fire from it, and we do have some more details about this strike specifically coming up in our next post here. But moving on a little forward, you can also see some air defense systems were also hit. There's one of them right there. And moving forward some more, there's apparently, I believe to be an S-400 right here that we can see. And there's some video of it working. And here's a video of it getting hit. So you get to see it working and then it also getting broken all in the same video right here. But they hit a hell of a lot of stuff last night, a hell of a lot of targets. And that's just some of the video right there to show you what was hit. But moving into our next post though, we got some more details about all these different targets that were struck from none other than the man himself, Magyar's birds. And the ambush was exhaustive to say the least. We see here that Magyar's birds are saying, don't joke about the fuel shipments to Crimea, that they warned them. And I would say that I definitely take them at their word on that. But we can see here that 2 fuel tankers allegedly carrying gasoline from Taganrog to Crimea were hunted down in the Sea of Azov that we just saw there in that video. Also on land, 2 S-400 Triumph air defense systems that the Russians are currently fielding also got destroyed in that attack. The oil depot is also burning in Kerch. We'll see that here in just a minute. And also a Nebo U radar, which is a pretty costly radar radar system was also taken out. And you might notice, it's like, where's the Russian air defense at? In fact, it was the air defense that got hit by the attack. So, I mean, this was a failure of big proportions right here, and shows that the Russian forces stuck in Crimea are not well equipped to defend themselves. And right now, at this point, it's basically like fish in a barrel, would be my opinion. So we got all the details here in this post. That pretty much covers most of it, though, pretty much all the details about the destroyed targets. But as you can see, it was devastating. But moving into our next one, this one goes to Ocean Technical. And you know, I mentioned that the Kerch Strait oil depot was hit. Right here, you can see there's a very blurry image showing it getting hit right here. But here's the real proof right here. This is the NASA fire satellite that monitors the fire signatures on land. And right there, you can see the entire oil depot is on fire, as you can see right here from the satellite angle. So that's a very exhaustive attack. That's not the first time that the Kerch Strait oil depot has been hit, but I think the Ukrainians are about to finish it off. In fact, this attack right here could have finished it off completely from the looks of it. So much for that gasoline. I doubt they'll get any more, especially after those ships got hit on top of that. But moving on to our next post here, this one goes to Max 26. In addition to all the insult to injury that we saw and all these other destructions, we also saw that one of the aircraft hangars at the Saky airfield in Crimea was also hit. Not only one of them, but actually 5 of the hangars were hit, according to the SBU. So taking a look right here, you can see this is all the damage right here in the satellite image. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it was indeed 5 hangars that were hit. And also, this is when we saw, I believe it was the MiG-29 or the Su-30 or some Russian fighter jet was also hit during the same attack right here. But you can see, though, it was a wide-ranging attack. It seems like their airfield doesn't have any defenses around it either. So that seems to be a theme. No defense for Russia, and really no offense either. I'm not sure what Russia has at this point, but they're failing, that's for sure. But moving into our next one, this one also goes to Ocean Technical, and we've got another bombshell story that I am absolutely excited to report to y'all today. Because in a whopping turn of events, deep in Siberian territory, we saw Ukrainian attack drones carry out the deepest raid of the war. Guess what? Hitting the Russian Omsk oil refinery over 1,500 miles behind the front line. That is insane. It's almost hard to comprehend how far away this attack was and how much of a deep strike this was. And the Omsk oil refinery, that is Russia's largest oil refinery that produces refined oil products for the entire Russian Federation. So this facility is absolutely mind-boggling large. I'll show y'all in a minute a satellite view of this facility. It is mind-boggling how large this place is. But Ukraine hit it with multiple drones. So let's take a look at our first video of the refinery burning right here on camera. So this right here is our first look at the Omsk facility. As you can see, there are several different fires burning on it. You can see there's about to be a boom right here. And there it was right there. You could barely hear it in the background. It was very faint, but there was all kinds of explosions happening on this facility. And this is wild to see. Like, I really can't even state how wild this is to see, but I'll show y'all how wild it is. Let's move into our next post here. And this is actually going to be a Google map showing you the Russian city of Omsk. And as you see it, there's the location right there. Oh, way over here on the left, there's St. Petersburg, by the way, right over there on the left, you can see. Way over here is Omsk. That is an insanely far way away from the Ukrainian border. But zooming into the Russian city of Omsk right here, I don't even need a geolocation on the refinery. This is a city right here, and up here in the top left, this entire mass up here is the refinery. It's basically as big as a town that you can see right here. So that is wild to see, and this is the facility that was hit, which is the largest refinery inside of the Russian Federation, just to give you an idea of the scale of what Ukraine just hit. So I don't know if they're actually going to be stopping the operations here. That's a little bit unclear at the moment, and I don't know how long it's going to be out. We'll have to see when those details come out, but this is a whopping attack. But moving into our next one here, this one's going to go to Tendar. We also got a video of apparently some of these Ukrainian drones flying in formation toward the Omsk region of Russia, and this is a very interesting view because you can actually see that pretty much no Russian air defense worked against these drones, and I don't even think the Russians were expecting this because Ukraine just announced today, by the way, for some context, they announced a brand new variant of the FP-1 attack drone that has a 1,500 mile range on it, which coincidentally is exactly the range needed to hit the Omsk refinery inside of Omsk, Russia. So that's just a very happy coincidence to say the least, but let's take a look at the video of these drones flying in. And sadly, I had to mute the audio. The Russians were playing some music, but there you see it right there. Look at that. There's two of them. That's actually a bird up there on the top right, by the way, if you're wondering about that. But you see, there's the drones flying in. There's two of them in formation right there, and that's a new tactic that Ukraine's using, by the way. They'll fly these drones in a tight formation, so that way it's harder to hit them with the air defense. The Russians have to pick and choose which ones they're going to hit instead of picking them off one by one if they come in staggered. So that's a new strategy. It seems to be working quite well. The Russians were firing some small machine gun fire at it. I can report that. I heard it in the video, but that's not really air defense, though. I mean, that's a very cheap tactic to try to shoot down drones. That really doesn't work, as you might note by the explosions on the refinery. So that was the drones flying in, but let me show you how bad of a failure this was, by the way. Let's move into our next one here. The Russians pulled out one of their AWACS aircraft, and by the way, they don't have a whole bunch of AWACS aircraft, so if they pull one of these out right here, they are really going all out for this. They apparently pulled out an A-50U AWACS aircraft to repel the attack, and plot twist, it really didn't repel anything. And also, they put their AWACS at risk that they currently barely have. So let's take a look at the video. A very rare sighting of their A-50. Let's take a look. And look at that, the rare Russian AWACS aircraft. That is quite interesting to see that. Look at the Soviet star on the back of it too. They love that little touch. You know, they're not the USSR anymore, but they love the Soviet star. But as you can see, there is the radar dome, or the radome, I think it's called, on the top. I'm not really sure what the exact name for that piece of equipment is, but it's a radar. And we do see the aircraft flying over. It's flying quite low, by the way, and also very slow. It looks like a moving target to me. But that was the AWACS, interestingly, up during the attack. But moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to Exile Nova, and as you can see right here, this is a very high resolution picture of the strikes, and it looks like it was right in the middle of the refinery. Sadly, we can't tell exactly what part it was from here, but it obviously hit a very flammable part of the refinery. So I would imagine the facility will be out for some time, but it's hard to tell how long it's going to be out. But the fact that Ukraine hit this whatsoever is just insane in itself. But moving on to our next post here, this one also goes to Tendar, and also something that was totally predictable. We did see panic break out inside of Omsk, Russia. The Russians in Omsk, they absolutely went berserk after they saw this drone attack take place on the oil refinery there, because also plot twist, by the way, if the oil refinery in Omsk gets hit, everybody in town knows about it because the town's not very large, and the oil refinery is literally employing basically, I would say, the majority of the town. I mean, it's like the major employer in the area. So everybody got worried about it instantly. So what did the Russians do? Instantly, they did a run on the gas stations, literally instantly, and we have a video of that right here. So the Russians are panicking in Omsk. Let's take a look. So right here you can see there's the gas line already starting. Also, there's the Kremlin spokesperson right there on the dashboard. But as you can see, though, it is a massive line right here in the city of Omsk. Panic is real. I mean, Omsk is like technically, I think, in Siberia. I mean, this is technically Siberian territory. So, I mean, this is way 1,500 miles away from the Ukrainian border. And Ukraine's long arm of justice is reaching all the way out into Omsk and literally making the Russians even deep in Siberia feel the pain at this point. So, I would say that the war is starting to take a bad left turn. If even Omsk, the largest refinery, is getting hit and Russia's already suffering, imagine what this is going to cause if Omsk is out for any extended period of time. It's going to be quite devastating. But also, believe it or not, could it get worse? Yes, it can get worse. And this time, it's actually going to be getting worse inside of, guess where? It's going to be Crimea this time. And we're seeing today in Crimea that we'd already gotten about 2-3 days ago the first early warning signs that a banking crisis was starting to erupt inside of Crimea. We saw several Russians go up to ATM systems and they could not withdraw any money from it, and the Russians were freaking out. And it seems to be happening across the entire Crimean peninsula for the most part. So on top of the fuel crisis, as Jay and Keeve notes right here in his post, the banking crisis is now starting as well, and apparently depositors are being turned away with cash not being delivered to the branches. So that is currently, I believe, the official excuse is the cash trucks can't bring cash deliveries to the banks, and that's why they're not letting people withdraw their money. But, you know, some people are saying it might be a little bit more severe than that, but right now it's not really clear. But let's take a quick look here at the crowd outside the bank and see what's happening. But as you can see right here, these people appear to be standing outside of a bank, which is reported to be in Crimea. And you can see here, they appear to be a little bit angry. And also, this dude standing right here at the door, he looks like he's ready to go. It's a very menacing looking individual standing outside the bank. Not really sure if the bank hired this guy or what, but he's standing out here looking like he means business to these people. So doesn't look like a good situation in the banks. I wonder if we're going to start seeing brawls break out at bank branches now. We've already seen that happening at pretty much every gas station in Russia. Fights galore all over the place. It might start happening at the banks. But anyways, Anyways, though, outside the fight news right here, moving into our next one. This one's going to go to Ocean Defender, and this is also a pretty big story right here on a separate note, so let's jump right into it. We're currently seeing that Poland's defense minister announced Monday that several thousand U.S. soldiers will arrive in Poland within the coming weeks, as the United States has committed to resuming its rotation of combat forces on NATO's eastern front, and this announcement comes amid reports that Russia is preparing to carry out armed provocations against Poland and other countries in Eastern Europe in an effort to test NATO's resolve on the defense of its allies and support for Ukraine. And it's up for debate what you think this is. I personally think this is more than meets the eye at this point. I know they're framing this as like a resumption of combat rotations, but I think this is directly related to the threats that Russia's making on Poland. I think it's directly related to it. And honestly, it's kind of a good sign that the U.S. is actually deploying forces to Poland in the midst of those threats, because everybody was worried, is the United States going to show up and help defend NATO if Russia decides to attack? And this might be a somewhat promising sign that maybe the U.S. is going to respond or help out in some way or another. At least it looks like some action's being taken. So we'll just have to see where that goes. But it is a very interesting sign that's coming in the midst of those threats from the Russian Federation. But moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to Max 26. And we've also gotten a crazy video here showing apparently the crew of an AN-28 using a minigun to destroy the Russian Shahed 136 drones during today's attack, apparently. So let's take a look. The Ukrainians were actually whipping out the minigun on what appeared to be an aircraft, it looks like. So let's take a look. And damn, that is a minigun, definitely. And as you can see right there, it's kind of hard to miss with a minigun because you're literally firing thousands of rounds a minute. So you can see there, the drone was shot down. And also, if you didn't shoot the drone down with the minigun, I'd have been disappointed, because if you miss with a minigun, you might need to go back and work into targeting a little bit. But he definitely hit it. And he could have probably hit it with anything, folks. You know, the Ukrainians are very good marksmen in most degrees. So I would say the minigun was not necessary, but it was a welcome addition, I must say. I've never really seen that too often. But moving into our next one here, this one also goes to Max 26. We've also gotten a video of a brand new Ukrainian autonomous drone. Ukraine is developing these autonomous drones so fast, it's kind of hard to keep up with which one they're actually on when it comes to which variant they're producing. We did see here that a heavy Ukrainian 8x8 heavy lift ground drone from the Avata group, capable of carrying up to 2 tons of payload, was seen ripping around the battlefield. And this thing's wild. I mean, it's literally like a mobile platform. You just like pile 2 tons of equipment on it, and then you send it out with no risk whatsoever to any type of infantry forces or ground forces trying to deliver stuff to the frontline forces. So, I mean, it's wild. Let's take a look at this. And right there you can see it. That is the 8x8 2-ton military hauler that's completely autonomous for the most part. I think you can operate it by RC, and also, wouldn't that be wild to operate? I mean, this is the ultimate RC truck right here. You'll literally get a controller out and operate this thing. I mean, every kid on the block would want one of these if it was something for sale as a toy or something. But look at that. I mean, it appears he has an RC controller in his hand over there on the left. This is just wild to see this, really. It's really just wild how quick Ukraine's advancing with that. I must admit, that's very, very cool to see. But moving into our next post here, this one's going to go to Visegrad 24. We've also gotten some news about apparently Kadyrov. Apparently Kadyrov is being forced to run and apparently in the elections inside of Chechnya, and it's a big boo-hoo fest. I mean, he just doesn't want to run, apparently. He doesn't like all the trappings of being the leader of Chechnya, apparently. So he's just so unhappy about being forced to run. Let's take a look. As we can see right here in the post, Kadyrov has been nominated for a 4th consecutive term as head of Chechnya. He stated that he's allegedly not happy with the decision and is being forced to run in the elections. And Putin's party, United Russia, nominated Ramzan Kadyrov as a candidate for the upcoming Chechen head elections. And it just turns out that every time this guy runs in the elections, he happens to win a whopping majority of the vote. Free elections in Chechnya and all that business. So, is there really much explanation needed for this, by the way? I don't think there really is. I think this speaks for itself for the most part. And this is typical Russian stuff that goes on right here. Very typical Russian and, not surprising whatsoever. And also, we were told like a while back that Kadyrov was basically in foul shape with his health. And I guess he's hanging in there somehow. I'm not really sure how, because he has some allegedly some serious medical conditions that people were talking about and having rumors floating around that he was having, but it looks like he's hanging on. So either the rumors weren't true or Kadyrov simply just hanging on for dear life at this point. It's kind of hard to tell. But with that, folks, that is actually our last post of the video. So before you go, smack that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well if you already haven't for more daily war uploads just like this one. And also, if you want to support our channel financially, because we are crowdfunded by the viewers and it's the viewer support that makes all this possible, you can go to our Patreon page, by the way, and I put the link below for Patreon, and you can go over there and check it out. You can do a $5 or even $10 a month membership or whatever amount you would like, by the way. And all that viewer support adds up and helps to keep us on the air for 4+ years. And we do appreciate that support very, very much. But we will see you all tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern for the next Nightly War News stream, and we hope to see you all then. And with that, bye-bye for now.